Okay, we are back, and Steve was talking about, we were talking about that.
Inversion tables,
Well, and
safety,
and your point about
to be aware of.
stimulation, that, you know.
Muscle stems, yeah.
Yeah, muscle stems can, you know, whenever they do those things, you're right, they can pull muscle off a bone if you stimulate the muscle too hard. And then he was talking about TENS unit, which is that gateway theory you were talking about.
Gateway theory.
Which is just stimulating, it's just basically fooling the brain that there's pain.
Well, they both work differently. The TENS
Right.
unit sends a signal up the spinal cord, and your brain has to determine whether it's a tickle or an itch or I mean, so it's gating the sensation. Now, it's not good for severe pain. I mean, you know, and in Steve's case, I got to believe that, you know, if his back is that arthritic, you know, really for him, a good trunk stabilization to strengthen his stomach muscles and his core muscles,
Right.
along with the mobilization, along with the traction. And that's not an overnight fix for him. You know what, if you're going to go to the gym, you don't put an inch on the bicep
Right.
in 30 days, you know, it takes time.
It does.
But the body is designed to heal. The only thing that doesn't get better is cancer.
Yeah.
Louis.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen.
Hey.
Listen, I've got a question. How serious is stress on the body? Because, you know, people told me sometimes, they say, Louis, you get all excited, you get all wound up, you're going to end up with a heart attack. But I'll tell you what happened years ago when I took a physical. And, you know, a doctor talked to me, and I told him that sometimes I blow up sometimes. He said, now, I'm not telling you to blow up. He said, but when you're under a lot of stress, you're better off to release it than to hold it in. Now, like I said, he said, I'm not telling you to scream and yell and blow up, but when you hold it in, that's even worse. Is that correct?
I think it's like an abscess if you don't release what stress,
the
but
pressure.
If you don't release what it is, if you don't, there are different ways of dealing with certain issues. I mean, if you're going to want to blow up and rant and rave and raise your blood pressure and you know, have that mental, you know, meltdown, and you do it frequently, then I think you need the anger workout book. You need to learn how to control. You have anger management issues, and you need to deal with that. But getting out your issues and talking about them and doing them in a safe, effective way relieves that stress. And if you hold it inside, it's going to come out, and it'll come out inappropriately somewhere else, and will create another problem in that area, which wasn't the intended problem that you were going to try to solve in that area. So communication is the key, and doing that in a safe, effective manner, and not everybody's good at that.
I think what Mike's trying to tell you, if you're angry at somebody at work, don't go home and beat your wife, Louis.
No. I'm not saying that, but you see, like, it's almost like with a lot of things that I go to a lot of, different things that happen out here, and I get into discussions with people, and sometimes they'll look me right in the eye, lie right to my face. And it's hard for me to just sit there. I have to let them know that I'm offended by what they're saying, and I sort of get a little loud sometimes. It's hard for me to just sit there. And like I said, years ago, that doctor told me, he said, if you hold it in, that's worse. He said, I'm not telling you to blow up or scream and yell, but holding it in is worse. And now, I had a friend of mine years ago, nice kid, and he was very soft-spoken all the time, and he held in everything that bothered him, he held it in. Every time this kid ate, right after he ate, he was in the washroom. That was because they told him he was always upset, his stomach was bad, but this kid never released nothing. He just held it in. Now, like I said, I understand that you're not supposed to, you know, do something crazy, but how serious is that stress on your body? Because like I said, what I do sometimes, when I get upset, I'll go for a walk, I'll do stuff. A matter of fact, me and my wife will go for a nice walk, or we'll exercise a little bit. But if I don't do something, and I just sit there, and it's like eating inside of me, I get like a time bomb.
Yeah, and I think you're doing the right thing by getting out and releasing the stress. I mean, I heard something a while back ago, and it was basically a subtitle of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, and one of his thing was distance between the stimulus and the response. Okay, so if someone can push your button like on a knee jerk and can tap your knee and your knee goes out, there's no time, there's no distance between the stimulus and the response. So if someone, Louis, knows how to press your button and they press it and they get that response, that's unhealthy. I think what you're doing with giving it time to think about it but not responding to it right away, if someone says something inflammatory towards you, it is important to vocalize it and do that. But it's probably inappropriate to slam the table and throw a temper tantrum and raise your blood pressure. That would be hard on your health immediately with blood pressure changes and cardiovascular changes. You've seen the people that have had the heart attacks when they get all stressed out and they have angina. That's a small vessel type of disease. That's not necessarily, whenever you get adrenaline, it stretches your tissues and heightens your blood pressure, and the body's meant to respond, but that's nothing like true flight or flight.
Nope.
When you get into true flight or flight, you lose vision, tunnel vision, you can't, your body starts to shake, you have no fine motor movement. So that's the adrenaline extreme of extremes, and your body is meant to handle that. But fortunately for you, Louis, and 90% of the people, they don't live in that state. Okay, so it's not like you live in constant anger, and if you do, your lifespan is really shortened. And I look at people, and I mean, you've done it, 69-year-old male who looks younger than his stated age or looks older than his stated age. So it's the years, it's not necessarily the years, it's the miles. I mean, it's basically how you lived your life. And I think more harm comes from cigarette smoking, alcohol, and all the bad habits and the bad food than it does come from yelling and screaming every once in a while.
Well, good. I feel better now. Now I know that I don't have to worry about not making my next birthday. You guys helped me out. I appreciate that.
Well, if you don't make your next birthday, it's not because you blew up as some idiot. I can promise you that.
Let me give you Doc's number there, Louis. Aristotle talked about this 500 years before the birth of Christ and talked about something called the golden mean. You may want to look that up, and Doc Reiner's been talking about that. You don't want to go overboard, but you don't want to go underboard either. You'd like to have a moderate response. People, through either emotional work or spiritual work, get their heads together, get a little wisdom, and it is all about the miles. And so you figure, I'm going to give a little time before I make a response. I'd like to make it in kind, and would like to do it with kindness. Usually works pretty well.
Well, I'll tell you what, I feel nice and calm now, and I appreciate it. And thank you, gentlemen, very much.
No charge for that tonight, Lou.
And have a good night.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah, no, it's, and that was just very interesting to try, but most of the time we feel like we have to respond to somebody when they tell us to do something, right? I mean, we feel this immediate. I've been guilty of that more than one occasion. Someone, but it's actually just one of those nice things. I'll just get back to you, and it pretty much takes care of the argument right then and there. It's just done. I mean, at that point. The other thing, Louis, is I say this a lot, there's no law that I'm aware of stupidity, okay? So there's no law against stupidity. So you may have the right opinion and you may be right, and that other person can't see what you're saying, and that's very frustrating when you're trying to have an argument with someone and they're just a pinhead. They just can't see what you're saying, and that's the end of it. What are you going to do? You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip.
You just don't chase them down their rabbit hole. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, some people, you can't make them see what you're talking about anyway, so really, what does it matter? So how was your first day in the office over there today?
We had a blast over there. I must say, we got a little confused because of which room to go into next.
Yeah.
But Doc and I got a chance to talk about a number of people, which is always fun.
Yeah, that's
It's
good.
Nice to have a colleague there, which I haven't had for many years.
Yeah, that's good.
So it went well.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So for all you people that have seen Dr. Creig over at Mountain Valley Professional Group, he's now over at the Wellness Center with Dr. Christensen. I got Creig last name, and Creig the first name. So, and we're hoping that we steal a lot of patients from Southwest Medical and healthcare partners that want to come over and get in quicker. And,
This is not an advertisement, folks.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I mean, if you're happy with your doctor, keep them. But if you're not, come see Dr. Creig, right? You can see the
Dr. Creig and Dr. Creig, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. We'll be right back. We're going to go to break.